Hi. So my topic and topics stem from female minors and whether or not they should have to have parental consent for contraceptive, abortion, and the parent being prepared for the birds and the bees talk. I know that it is a very uncomfortable topic, especially since it involves minors and sex. But I feel like most decisions made are ultimately affected by what the parent has discussed with the minor and or how educated and the knowledge the minor and the parent have on these topics. Some people choose to be naive and think, now my daughter, or she knows better. Yeah, well, she probably already knows the exact words that are going to come out of your mouth if she would even mention the word sex, let alone contraceptive, abortion, or even pregnancy. I feel like each of these topics run hand in hand. If you as a parent choose to wait till they're 18 or choose not to talk to them about the birds and the bees, well, there's going to be consequences. Consequences that you and the minor child are not prepared for. I'm sure you're thinking, sure, school teaches sex ed, or they hear it from school or the social media. But the reality of it is these minors shouldn't have to fish out fact from fiction. But trust what their parents tell them is very real and honest. First, I'm going to cover parents and the birds and the bees talk. I think parents should be prepared to have this conversation by middle school, even if they think their child isn't sexually active. But that's kind of the point, right? The point is to have the discussion before they're sexually active to prevent teen pregnancies and STIs. If we as parents choose to be naive and think that our kids will not be having sex, well, we might as well be asking for it. As well as the other side of the spectrum, where if a child is so afraid of their parents and their reaction to being sexually active or needing birth control or being pregnant, that the minor child ends up being deceitful. I mean, they end up sneaking around and sneaking on getting birth control and sneaking to get Plan B or even sneaking to get an illegal abortion, which we know it's going to hurt them more in the long run. As parents, it's our job to prepare our children for the real world. Secondly, I'd like to cover contraceptive. Currently, no state or federal law requires minors to get parental consent in order to get contraceptive. These minors that don't have parental consent probably already know their parent won't take them, religious belief or not. Or they're too afraid of the reaction, and because the parent doesn't know they're having sex or thinking about it. I mean, Planned Parenthood has helped 1.5 million of these young people a year. Your kid is probably just as worried and afraid of the label that comes with teen pregnancies, not being married, and abortions. If the minor child is responsible enough to knowingly ask for contraceptive, then they probably need it. Questioning them and whether they need it is only going to make them question themselves and if their initial response was the right one. You can preach and say, no, I'm not getting you off birth control because you shouldn't be having sex. Well, at the end of the day, we're only opening the door for unwanted and unplanned pregnancies and STIs. Also, people use this whole gender bias thing as an excuse or an exemption, right? My son should have condoms. Oh, okay, but your daughter shouldn't? I mean, as a female, it's our right. We're the ones that carry the child. I mean, it's our body. So I think we have a right to be prepared. If the man doesn't have a condom, we should. But also having an extra needed preventative layer like the birth control pill, IUD, NuvaRing, implant, etc. Just those alone don't prevent STIs, but only help prevent pregnancies. And even then, they are not 100% effective. I don't want my daughter relying solely on the pull-out method. Lastly, I will be addressing abortion. Hopefully, if we did our jobs as parents, then we shouldn't even get to this part of the process. But unfortunately, some things are just out of our hands, and bad things happen to good people. If your daughter ends up pregnant for whatever reason, if she's thinking abortion is her only option, we failed her as parents. Maybe she's thinking, well, the baby's mixed with a different race, and dad ain't going for it. Or maybe she thinks my parents would kill me if they found out I was pregnant. Come on, Mom. Are these really a good excuse for getting an abortion? I mean, Dad, are you really going to disown your daughter because her child is biracial? These are probable thoughts that might go through their head when she finds out she's pregnant. Me personally, I don't think I could follow through with an abortion, but who am I to judge? For some people, it just goes against their religious and moral beliefs. I do think that if abortion is the only option that you're choosing, some exceptions would be rape or incest. I mean, at least terminate before 3 months. The gender. Ohio has 17 known legal abortion clinics, and these total 22,730 abortions just this year for women ages 15 to 44. In conclusion, to educating you on the birds and the bees talk, contraceptive, pregnancy, and abortion, my point in doing so is for the parents, in turn to educate their child. I can tell you when I think you should have the talk, but you are the only one that knows if your child are ready for the talk. And if it's too late, you know your kids better than anyone else, better than their teacher and social media and their friends. Also, when it comes to birth control and contraceptive, trust is key. Trust that you raise them right and to be responsible. Trust that if they are sexually active, whether you approve of it or not, that they are doing what they need to do, not only to protect themselves from STDs, but also to be smart enough to know that a teenager is not ready for a baby and when the right time is. As a woman and a mother, I will be teaching my daughter to be prepared, just the same as my son, and abortion is not an option.